Hi, guys. Today we're going to be assessing the validity of the statement Federalism profoundly shaped America's development in terms of economics, politics, and foreign relations. And our thesis is.
Federalism shaped America's development in economics, politics, and foreign relations. Federalists supported a centralized national banking system. Federalism developed politics by increasing government and court rule, and federalism strengthened America's foreign relations with Britain during the French Revolutionary Wars.
So, in terms of economics, the Federalists supported a centralized national banking system. So, during the Federalists' time in power, Hamilton created all these reports on a centralized economy. So, his first report was on public credit, which pertains to the assumption of federal and state debts and the financing of government. Um, the second report on public credit pertains to the establishment of the national bank. And the third report on public manufacturers created policies to be followed to encourage manufacturing and industry within the U.S. So Hamilton did all these amazing things during his time of power.
Next, in terms of politics, federalism developed politics by increasing government and court rule. So, one of the main factors of this was Shays' Rebellion, and it created this fear of the rabble. And the fear of the rabble is like fear of mob rule. And the rabble are uneducated, lower class Americans with no property. And during Shays' Rebellion, it was the lower class Americans rebelling that their land was being taken away. And Federalists wanted to have the rich be in government and have the government be run by the rich people. So safeguards were put in place to go against mob rule, which were the federal judges were to be appointed for life. President was to be elected indirectly by the Electoral College, not by the people, and the senators were to be chosen indirectly by state legislators. Another factor of this was also the case of Marbury versus Madison, where the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Marshall, became the stronghold for Federalist views among the Republican-controlled Congress and White House. And in the case of Marbury versus Madison, John Marshall validated the court's power to declare an act of Congress void if they deemed unconstitutional, and this increased the court's power significantly.
So, in terms of foreign relations, federalism strengthened America's foreign relations with Britain during the French Revolutionary Wars. So, during the Anglo-French War of 1793, because of the Franco-American Alliance of 1778, America was supposed to help France during their war with Britain, but instead America stayed neutral because the Federalists were in power and they were wary of the revolutionary ideas that were coming out of France, because they didn't want the same thing to happen in the U.S. One thing that they did to establish an alliance with Britain was sending John Jay over, which many Democratic Republicans saw as almost like a surrender to Britain even before the war started. So that's one of the things that angered many Jeffersonians. Another thing that they did was the Alien and Sedition Acts, which was intended to curb political dissent and limit the political participation of immigrants by easing deportation and lengthening the time required for citizenship, since most immigrants were supportive of the French Revolution, and they were supporters of the Jeffersonian cause. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that. Cool.